Hello people, it's Chris. We are going to have an essay writing class and that will begin in about 6 minutes. So if you're ready, leave your comments, tell me you're ready, and we should begin in 5 or 6 minutes. Hope to see you then. Bye. Yes, hello for those people that have just joined. It's Chris from IELTS Daily, and we're going to start in 5 minutes. We're going to have an essay writing class. So go and get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a glass of water, grab yourself a pen and some paper, get yourself ready, and we will begin very, very soon. Hi everyone, it's Chris. We're going to start in 2 minutes. 2 minutes for today's class. Wow, lots of you online today, so we are going to be starting in about 30 seconds. Good to see everybody. Okie dokie, if everybody's ready, we shall begin. Today you just have a picture of me because I am not ready to be in front of the camera today. We're just going to do an essay writing class. So if you are here, I can see there's lots of you. Just say hi and tell me that you need or what score you need for your IELTS writing section. What score do you need in IELTS writing? Tell me in the chat. I've got lots of people that I can see there. Lots of you. Hello to Fio from Argentina. We've got lots of you in the chat today, which is wonderful. Good to see so many of you sharing your experiences. All right, so we've got lots of you, 9s, 6s, 7.5s, different scores there. And we are going to be looking at a band 8, hopefully, today. So I can see lots of you need 9s, 8s, 7s and 7.5s. Some of you might need a 6, which is not too difficult. Hopefully we can all get a 6. But we will take a look and see if we can get you to a band 8. Right, let's take a look at the question. And the question today is as follows. Some people say that schools should focus more on teaching practical subjects such as car maintenance or managing a bank account. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is an agree or disagree question. Therefore, we always should think about the most important word. Most important word or words. So you can tell me now, what is the MIW, the most important word? Put your idea in the chat because I would love to see what you guys think. And if you've been to one of my classes before, you will know the most important word in this question. What do you think? Tell me. Saket says agreement. V1 Rotate says skills. Callister says extent. Akhil says practical subjects. Sadia says teaching practical subjects. Mari says skills. MRK says should. Lots of you coming through now. Some of you saying skills and knowledge and focus more. Training, practical subjects, skills. We can see all these coming through here. Many of you are getting the wrong answer. Wrong. So, if you said, let me show you, if you said the word Schools. You are wrong. If you said the word practical subjects, you are wrong. If you said agree, disagree, you are wrong. The most important word or words in this question is should or should focus. Okay, you need to be able to ascertain, and ascertain means pick out or understand. You need to be able to ascertain what the most important word or words are in the question. If you can't do that, you are really going to have a difficult time when writing your essay, because part of your mark comes from task response, and therefore task response is whether you answer the question. Whether you answer the question. And the question says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, and you need to think, what, here's the question, what am I agreeing or disagreeing with? And the most important word is that they should focus more on teaching practical subjects, or they should not focus more on. And those are the two kind of main positions that you could have. You could also have some sort of middle ground position, and you could say that, practical subjects are important and schools should focus on them, but they should also focus on, or they should not miss out on, they should not overlook other subjects which are traditionally academic subjects, such as maths or science, something like that. So that could be your middle ground position. And the reality is that you can have any position that you want. I don't care what your position is. You just need to have a position, and you need to maintain your position. That means that your position has to be consistent throughout. You need to have the same position from the beginning or right to the end. So very, very, very importantly, if you haven't seen any of my previous classes on writing and maintaining positions, it's really important that you pay attention to it. Okay, so now we have our 3 positions. It's probably a good idea to start thinking of how you can develop some sort of ideas. So if we said practical subjects, and if we said traditionally, we'll put them in quotes, academic subjects. Okay. And if we talked about the reasons for teaching practical subjects, let's choose 2 or 3 reasons. And what about academic subjects? And those academic subjects could be traditional subjects such as maths or science or history, those types of subjects. So we've got 2 camps here. What are, and I'll ask you guys for your ideas, think for about a minute, think about only, please, we're only going to look at practical subjects. What do you think about practical subjects only? Why should people learn practical subjects? So the question is, why should people learn, or why should schools focus on practical subjects? Put your answers in the chat while I have some of my tea. And I think it's probably quite important to note that the types of practical subjects are the ones which are listed in the question, and therefore we should probably make a note of them. So practical subjects would be car maintenance and bank account management, just as ideas. Got some ideas coming through there. I'm going to stop, shoot some ideas and have a look. So Natvara, you'll notice that Natvara is in green. Thank you, Natvara. Natvara is one of our members, so I'm going to focus on some of our members today. Natvara, they are helpful for day-to-day life basis. A couple of grammar mistakes there. So we can say helpful in our day-to-day, and you would need to hyphenate those. Can you see that that would be day-to-day as an adjective? Helpful in our day-to-day lives. Now, we would need to support that. We need to provide some reasons, but that's a good start. Yeah, good start. Practical. Saket says practical. Basic electricals, balancing finance, stock markets, and loans. Okay, so there, I think that kind of supports our position again, which is they are helpful in our day-to-day lives. I think that's the same idea. BB says to solve real life problems. To solve real life problems. I think again that's going to be to solve real life problems. It's probably going to be the same idea. Anybody else? Segai says helpful in solving in-need practical problems. I'm not sure what you mean by in need. Yay Ted says useful for income and earning. Learn accounting software says could be helpful to choose a professional career in the future. Possibly. Now, some good ideas there. Good ideas. What about on the contrary? What about on the other side? Tell me, what do you think about academic subjects? Academic subjects. And those would be subjects like maths, science, and history. What would be the benefits of learning those subjects? So Lilia says, beneficial for the period after school, especially in professional careers. Okay, I think that's probably going along the right lines. We'll add that to the so things like professional careers, and we'll put the word professional in quotation marks just for now. Professional careers might be something like an architect, yeah, or a dentist, or an accountant. All of those types of careers, you do need to have more academic knowledge and subjects around and knowledge around that. These are extremely useful for making future better. That comes from Aman. The problem with this, Aman, is that you need to have a little bit more meat. For if I just said, and this is useful for all students, if I said for making future better, first of all it should be for making one's future better, or making a person's future better. This is just a little bit vague. It's not particularly clear, okay? It's just a little bit vague. So just be careful when you're thinking of your ideas that you have something that's a little bit more concrete. Saket says, let's read what Saket says. Academic subjects help us to derive logical explanations for the given set of problems and help us to come up with efficient solutions. XR Mayank, my cam screen is not frozen, it's just a picture. Please stop posting the same thing. Improve creativity and analytical thinking. Improve creativity and analytical thinking. So we're going to have a look at that. Maths benefits students in so many aspects of life. Academic subjects are fundamentals to life, possibly. Helps coding and software development. Luke Sam says broaden career options, help to learn fundamentals, help research-oriented professions. So I think we're almost on the same lines here. That you, I think you're all coming up with the same ideas. And in the test, I think we probably could probably start writing something along these lines. But the first idea is whether we choose our position. And your position has to be maintained throughout. You have to have the same position all through your essay. So if we had one position which said, so position 1 is, and it should be, schools should focus more. So let's use the words from the text. Focus more on practical subjects, and that would be less focus on, we can call them theoretical, or we maybe even use the word traditional subjects. So that's number 1. Position number 2 would be focus more on traditional subjects and focus less on practical subjects. And position 3 would be focus equally or introduce practical subjects alongside traditional subjects. Okay? And those 3 positions are probably the main ones that you could choose during your test. And it's important that you kind of decide which one you want to go with, because you shouldn't be changing your position throughout your essay. all right? And what I might do is show you a good kind of structure for your essay so that you make it as clear as possible for the examiner on the day. So we'll have 3 columns, and this will be position 1, this will be position 2, and this will be position 3. And this would be 3 types of essays. And during today's class, we won't be able to write all 3 essays, but we will be able to think about how we approach those. So when we write it, we're always going to write our introduction, which will be the background or the paraphrase plus your position. So I want to introduce my position, and that will be the same for all of those. Okay, and that will be consistent, doesn't matter which one. So talk about the topic, which is teaching practical subjects, and then say what your position is. Do you first, or do you think that you actually should focus more on practical subjects, less on traditional subjects? Do you think that they should focus more on traditional subjects and less on practical subjects? Or do you think that we should do both equally and introduce ideas to kind of say why both are important? Try to always come back to the question. The question says that they should focus more on teaching practical subjects. That's the main point. Okay. Then, now this is the tricky part for many people who have never written an essay before. We're going to think about our body paragraphs, and you've got to think, how can I make my body paragraphs interesting? How can my body paragraphs flow from one to another and make it logical? So in the first, this position 1 is more on practical subjects. That's my position. Position 2 is more on traditional subjects, and that's my second position. And the third type is focus equally. Those would be my 3. Okay. And your essay flow will depend on your position. So let's think about body paragraph 1. If I were writing this, I would look at the opposing side first. Why do we no longer need to focus on traditional subjects? Okay, and that would be your opposing point. And the reason why we do this is because as your essay flows, you will be able to write a new paragraph which explains why it is important to focus on practical subjects. Okay, I hope you kind of see why we do it like this. We present the opposing arguments first, and you make it clear that this is not your position. So you could say, some people argue that traditional subjects should be favoured because, and then you would explain why, and you could say something like, because future careers such as dentists or accountants often depend on theoretical subjects such as maths and science. Yeah? So, do you see that we're looking at the other side first? All right? And then you can do, which we talk about a lot, you can do your rebuttal, yeah, or your refutation, yeah. So your rebuttal or refutation is basically you need to say why body paragraph 1 people are wrong, or you don't agree with them. So what you can say is, these people, however, fail to understand that. Or you could say, it is my view, however, that. And can you see that we're going to change direction and actually talk about more focus on practical subjects? So first, and this is probably just an idea, if you can probably write a shorter paragraph for the opposing side and spend most of your argument on your position. So you're going to say your introduction, and you're going to explain your position, which is that more focus should be on practical subjects. Then you are going to say some people argue that traditional subjects should be favoured because, and you're going to explain why. And then in a new paragraph, and this is really important, it's a new paragraph. It is my view, however, or a more important point is, so explaining that this is not how your essay is, it's not the point that your essay is supporting. So the reason why we have to, and what you could say is, why do we need to look at the opposing side? Why do we need to think about the other side? Well, if you need to score a band 8 or more, you need to consider the opposing side. So if you need this is in task response, by the way. So if you need a task response band 8 or a band 9, you need to show consideration for the other side. If you need a task response band 7, you can only look at one side. That's okay. But it's a really good idea to consider the other side. Now, the same would happen for this one. You would explain the other side, which is what some other people argue, and that's the traditional, you're saying that practical subjects are not important, or they shouldn't have any focus. And actually your position is that theoretical or traditional subjects should have focus. And what this does is it creates good cohesion and good coherence throughout your essay. Your essay will flow from beginning to end. I see a lot of essays, and this is not a great strategy. Okay, this is not a great strategy. Are you watching? On one hand, blah, 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 blah. On the other hand, blah, 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 blah. And what this is doing is, it's not this strategy, by talking about body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, this is making it quite difficult for the examiner to understand your position. Because if you just look at one side and if you just look at another side, it's really difficult to understand your position. But if you look at the essay above, where I said, some people argue that this, but it is my view, however, that this creates a really strong position. It shows, it demonstrates that you can think about the opposing side and you can formulate your own strong response. But I would argue that your body paragraph 1 should not go into much detail. You should explain one point. You should support that one point from the opposing side argument. So you could say that the support here would be that these careers, they depend on theoretical subjects, and then you could say it would not be possible for a dentist to be highly skilled without an understanding of science. So that's your support. So if you make your first point about the opposing side, then you have a little bit of a support and then you stop. That should be enough, okay? Because remember, we're not spending all our time and effort on the opposite side. We're going to talk about your side, your supporting side. So I'm just trying to explain to you that this is the idea that you need to consider the opposing side. All right, now these first two should be pretty simple. These two should not be too difficult. The third position, which is focusing equally, this needs just a little bit more explanation, because you need to explain to the examiner that practical subjects, or in fact it's probably better to say traditional subjects are important, but practical subjects are also important, or they are equally vital. Okay, and that is your your middle ground position. And that's absolutely fine. You can have a position like that. It's just, you have to think carefully. You have to do a bit of planning with your essay, but it's a bit more sophisticated. But actually, it's probably my position. If I were writing this essay, and we'll probably do it today, if I'm writing this essay, I would probably argue position number 3. So I'm going to come out to you guys and I'm going to ask you what do you think? Position 1, position 2, or position 3? Lily says 3. So it seems to be that the majority of people, I can see, the majority of people here seem to be position number 3. Yeah? Good. So what we can do now is talk about how we can look at a position number 3 together and see whether we want to write something along those lines. So let's delete this and We'll go up to the top and we'll have a look at the question again. It's always a good idea to remind ourselves of the question. Some people say that schools should focus more on teaching practical subjects such as car maintenance or managing a bank account. And we're going to say that actually they should focus equally. They should teach the traditional subjects. They should introduce practical subjects alongside traditional subjects. Okay. So, it has become increasingly common for schools to introduce more practical classes which are dedicated or which are focused on teaching skills such as car maintenance. What did we use in the question? We can't use too much. Car maintenance or managing a bank account. Such as car repairs, because we've got the word maintenance. Remember that we need to use synonyms, or financial management. So do you notice that we've tried to use car maintenance or financial management as managing a bank account? There is a debate around whether we should focus more on these subjects, and notice here that we've got something called these, and this is I'll add a comment here which is called referencing, and hopefully you can still see that on the screen. No, it's just gone off. Give me a second. Referencing is really important. So referencing is your ability to refer to something. So let me move that for you. Good. So you can see it. So when we've got the word this or these, this will affect your coherence and cohesion mark. So these subjects. Where am I? There is a debate around whether we should focus more on these subjects or give more attention to traditional subjects, traditional classes such as maths and science. My introduction is getting a little bit long at the moment, but that's okay. We'll just quickly make our position now, and I might want to shorten my introduction. It is my view that school curriculums, we've used some language here, curriculums should include both types of these subjects as practical subjects are useful for everyday life, and theoretical subjects are required for future careers. My first indication, my first instinct is that maybe my introduction is just a little bit too long. I normally try to keep my introduction to 2 or 3 sentences. This is probably just a little bit on the long side at the moment, so I might come back and amend it slightly. But for now, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I know what my position is, but I'm going to move on. So I'm going to say it is important to maintain focus on more historically traditional subjects such as science or history, as these provide the fundamental knowledge required for future careers. Imagine a doctor without a good understanding of biology, or a school teacher without learning about basic history. So you can use these thought-provoking statements. Sometimes you can use them as a way to engage the reader. When I've said imagine, let's go over that again. It is important to maintain focus on more historically traditional subjects such as science or history as, and then this would be complexity. It's like because these is a compound sentence, because these provide the fundamental knowledge required for future careers. Imagine a doctor without a good understanding of biology, or a school teacher without learning about who did not learn about basic history. So I'm going to go to my next body paragraph, okay, because I think I might want to add a little bit more there, but I think it's important for us to soldier on, go quickly, and then we'll come back and add anything else. This is a good tip for anybody who's doing the computer-based test. You can come back and add more. If you're doing paper-based, then it's a little bit more difficult. So we're going to do something called concession. Concession is agreeing with the previous, but you want to add something else that's a little bit different. So that being said, or despite this, or even though theoretical or traditional classes are extremely useful. It's even though. Notice here how even though is a cohesive device. You should use even though plus a comma after the first clause, the first part. So even though traditional classes are extremely useful, we cannot overlook how necessary more practical subjects are. So this is our topic sentence. Notice here how topic sentence really tells the reader what the paragraph is going to be about. So we're going to say, even though traditional classes are extremely useful, we cannot overlook how necessary more practical subjects are. By teaching young people the importance of managing a bank account or how to fix a car, we are giving them the tools for their future lives. These services can cost a lot. So, by allowing young people to perform these tasks themselves, we can allow future adults to save time and energy. At school, I did not get taught the basics of financial management, and I feel it would have been a great benefit to me. Notice here, please notice, it says in your question, it says specifically, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. You can talk about your own experience and you can use the word I. Let's see what I said again. At school, I did not get taught the basics of financial management, and I feel it would have been a great benefit to me. In conclusion, the traditional nature of classes, the traditional content of school curriculums have changed and now include classes on more practical subjects. This can only be a good thing as it helps people in their future daily lives. But we should not forget the importance of more academic subjects such as mathematics or literature. So we don't repeat too many of the same words or phrases throughout. Let's see what my conclusion says. In conclusion, the traditional content of school curriculums has changed. The content has changed and now includes classes on more practical subjects. This can only be a good thing as it helps people in their future daily lives, but we should not forget the importance of more academic subjects such as mathematics or literature. So this position should be the same as this position. It is my view that school curriculums should include both types of these subjects, as practical subjects are useful for everyday life and theoretical subjects are required for future careers. So those two should remain the same. Am I happy with my introduction? Probably not. I would probably go and take a look at it again and maybe possibly omit this. If I deleted this and I said there is a debate about whether we should focus more on subjects such as or give more attention to the traditional classes, I think maybe we could do that. But is this a bit additional? Is it a bit superfluous? Possibly. So we've written our first draft. I would go through and read it again and just see whether we have repeated words, repeated phrases, whether we've used any high-level idiomatic language. Maybe that's the part that needs to be fixed. It has become increasingly common. So this increasingly common is an example of a collocation. Collocation. For schools to introduce more practical classes which are focused on teaching skills such as car repairs or financial management. So car repairs and financial management, these are what we're doing is paraphrasing from the question. There is a debate. There is an ongoing debate. Around whether we or educators should focus more on these subjects or give more attention to traditional classes such as maths and science. It is my view that school curriculums should include both types of these subjects. Have we used the word subjects here? Both types of these courses. Because we've repeated the word subjects here. Can we see that? Include both types. I think that's enough. as practical subjects are useful for everyday life and theoretical courses or theoretical knowledge is required for future careers. So the importance is, please try not to repeat words, but, and this is really, really, really important, do not use random synonyms for whatever you're trying to find. Some people will go to a thesaurus and they'll try to find any synonym that they know or that they can find. So curriculum would be a higher level word. Good. It is important to maintain focus. We could say firstly. It's not a list. To begin. Let's do that. To begin, it is important to maintain focus on more historically traditional subjects such as science or history, as these provide the fundamental knowledge required for future careers. Imagine a doctor without a good understanding of biology. Good understanding, let's put without an in-depth understanding. So we've changed the word good to the word in-depth. And this would be a higher level piece of lexical resource. Without an in-depth understanding of biology, or a school teacher who did not learn about basic history. Even though traditional classes are extremely useful, we cannot overlook how necessary more practical subjects are. By teaching young people the importance of managing a bank account or how to fix a car, comma, and that's the complexity of the sentence. We're using a subordinate clause. We're using one dependent clause. We are giving them the tools for their future lives. These services or these issues can cost a lot to fix. So by allowing young people to perform these tasks themselves, we can allow future adults to save. So it's allowing that I'm not happy with. So let's remove that. These issues can cost a lot to fix. So by allowing young people to perform these tasks themselves, it can result in saved time and energy in their future adult life. Still not happy with this. These issues can cost a lot to fix. So by allowing young people to perform these tasks themselves, it can result in saved time and energy in their future adult life. At school, I did not get taught the basics of financial management and comma. As such, I feel it would have been a great benefit to me. So we've used a little cohesive device there. In conclusion, the traditional content of school curriculums has changed and now include classes on more practical subjects. This can only be a good thing as it helps people in their future daily lives, but we should not forget the importance of more academic subjects such as mathematics or literature. Any comments, anything that you want to add, any mistakes that I've made, please feel free to bring it to the fore. Ankit says, a school teacher who didn't learn basic history, written as teachers are not well versed in basic history. You can use the word well versed, somebody who's not well versed in something. Olga says, I know it's better to write 3 body paragraphs if you support both sides. Not necessarily. Yeah, you can. If it's a discuss both sides and give your own opinion. So remember that there's a different question type, and that's a good point from Olga. One of the questions may be, discuss both sides and give your own opinion. That's not the question that we have here. The question that we have here is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So if it's discussed both sides and give your own opinion, it's probably an idea to write body paragraph 1 as one side, body paragraph 2 another side, and body paragraph 3 give your opinion. That is not a hard and fast rule. Okay, you can write a sophisticated essay by just writing 2, but in the case of the one that Olga has said, it could be an idea to write it like that, but that's not the question that we had today. The question that I had today was, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Hope that makes sense. Somebody says, as a consequence, it can save time. Yeah, we could put that in. Let's see if we can add that in. And these tasks themselves, and as a consequence, it can result in save time. It can save time and energy in their future adult life. So that is another little cohesive device there. Can we see? Also, please notice that I don't have all my cohesive devices at the beginning of the sentence. Here, in conclusion, is at the beginning of the sentence, but most of my others are not. They're kind of scattered throughout. So just be aware that cohesive devices do not have to be right at the beginning of the sentence. Anything else? So somebody says, who just asked me that, something about to what extent. So Aman says, why did we not discuss the extent much in our letter? You don't have to. The question says, the question says to what extent. You are implying. Okay. So if people say, I completely agree with the statement, I think this is a really lazy way to show your opinion. Okay. The question asks, to what extent do you agree or disagree that they should focus more? I completely agree with this statement. It doesn't feel very sophisticated for me. So I wouldn't recommend writing something like that. It's not my style. Natvara. So we can choose the middle ground for answer this task. Yes, you can. I thought someone told me that you needed to choose whether I agree or disagree. No, the point of any essay is for you to think, what do you think about the subject? Do you think they should focus more? You think they should not focus more? Or do you think they should not focus more and focus on both? It's the both part that you can do. It's absolutely fine to have a position on that. What if the question just says advantages and disadvantages without to what extent? Then you just look at the advantages and disadvantages. Rewrite of the word things instead of thing. I have no idea what you mean, sorry Lily. Can we skip the subject as seen in the first paragraph with imagine a doctor? I don't understand. Sorry, Niho. Anyway, please remember there is no one right or wrong way, and I'm just going to put this in the chat. There is no one right or wrong way to write an essay. Okay, you can have argumentative essays, you can have discursive essays, And so what I need you to think about is do not learn templates. Okay? And maybe I will come back and I will show you. In fact, let me just find it for you because I think it's really, 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 really important. I made a video about maybe 6 or 8 months ago, possibly a year ago, and this video was really, it was really surprising. And I'll just try to find that video for you now. It's actually under the members section of the channel. So if you're not a member, you unfortunately won't be able to see it unless you are a member. But it's a really, really, really useful video for you to watch. Let me just find it so that you can have an idea of what it was. Give me a second. Chat amongst yourselves because I think I really want to show you this. It's a very important class that I did maybe almost a year ago, I think. I might need to show it to you at another time. I think it's this one. Give me a second. I just found it. I was wearing a yellow jumper at the time, I think. Let me show you now. I think it is this class, and hopefully I will be able to show you maybe it's not this class. There was an old class that I did, and it was a class for a band 7, and I wanted to show you what a band 7 actually looked like, and maybe I'll give it to you on another day. If you come back to the class on Wednesday, I won't waste your time now. I'll give it to you on Wednesday and then you can have a look. So I hope that was useful for you. Remember, there's no one right or wrong way to write an essay, but please do not learn templates. Do not learn templates. They will not help you. Okay? As much as you think they will help you, they won't help you. Okay? Nice to see everybody, and remember, if you want to watch all of the old videos, you can become a starter member on the channel. It was a pleasure talking to you today. I hope you found this useful. Please leave your comments if you have any ideas and different ways that you could answer this. Put your ideas in the comments. I will say goodbye to you all right now. So there you all are. Nice to see all of you. Welcome to Asma. She's a new starter student. Come back and don't forget, let me remind you actually, don't forget, every Wednesday, and you can find that on the IELTS Daily channel, there is the live class. Okay, it is a very useful opportunity for you to come and learn something new, and it will be a little bit more planned. Today was just writing an essay. This was one way to write an essay, but you can come to the Wednesday live class. Good. Nice to see everybody. Lots of you come today, so thanks for your attention. Thank you for being one of our students, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.